CNN national security analyst Peter Bergen joins me now. Peter, Tuesday's meeting, what will be on that agenda?
Well, obviously, there's a question of what went wrong with the Detroit bomber getting on the plane with the explosives. But in terms of Yemen, I think it's significant that David Petraeus was sent. I mean, there are a lot of other people you could send. John Brennan, the counterterrorism advisor of the president, has been to Yemen. You could send the Secretary of State, but you're sending a four-star general whose area of responsibility includes Yemen. I think that's a very strong signal that the United States is going to follow through on what President Obama has said, which he's going to hold people to account. I think that is a not very subtly coded way of saying there will be retribution, and it will be military retribution. And we've already seen strikes on December 17th and December 24th at al-Qaeda targets in Yemen. But I imagine there's going to be more of those strikes. And I don't think General Petraeus was bringing a thank you note to President Saleh of Yemen for your help in the war on terror. I think he was bringing kind of more of an ultimatum, which is to say, if that plane had blown up, 300, most of the Americans would be dead. And this is coming from your territory. And if you can't control your own territory, we can help you. We're already giving aid. We can increase that aid. But we also, this poses a major threat to the United States, and we can do this with you or without you. And I think that's the substance of the conversation. I can't imagine that he would have said anything else, given what the president said yesterday.
Yes, saying that holding those responsible accountable. But at the same time, we are learning today, Peter, that the president is also saying, in fact, the counterterrorism chief, that the U.S. is not opening a new front in Yemen against terrorism. Yet, at the same time, we're seeing this meeting taking place. And so my question to you is this. What can the Yemeni government do? We've been told that it's a weak government. The borders are easy to bypass so that terrorist activity can go in and out of the country. What can be done to stop the flow of not only the activity, but the recruitment?
Well, look, you've seen the map here. Saudi Arabia and Yemen border, it's a very long one. It's much of it is desert. The Saudis, by the way, also have a big role to play here. After all, al-Qaeda in Yemen also very narrowly missed killing the chief of their counterterrorism on August 27th. And the Saudis are trying to increase, the border security. Yemen, I don't blame the Yemeni government. I mean, they have so many problems. As Richard said in his piece, this is the poorest country in the Arabian Peninsula. This is a country that has basically two different kinds of civil wars going on. Topographically, it's very similar to Afghanistan. It's a country ideally suited for guerrilla warfare, quite mountainous, also very tribal. And so, already, a lot of things are already being done, but the problem is one of capacity. It's not a question necessarily of one of lack of willingness of the Yemeni government. I think it is, really a lack of capacity. So it's building up that capacity. And, obviously the United States has been helping, and I imagine with drones, which the United States is never going to acknowledge. It doesn't acknowledge the use of drones in Pakistan, and there have already been 50 drone strikes there this year under President Obama. So, I think that it's just going to be, already a lot of these things are happening, but I think they're going to be amped up considerably with this new threat emanating from them.
And we're also hearing today, Peter, that both the U.S. Embassy, the British Embassy closed after threats by al-Qaeda that it will attack interests in that region. So do you think an attack is imminent? Will al-Qaeda make good on those threats?
Well, it certainly will try, and it's tried in the past. And, we've mentioned on the program already that the history of al-Qaeda against the United States goes back to the Cole. In fact, it goes back even further. Al-Qaeda kidnapped a group of Western tourists in 1998, including Americans. Some of the Western tourists died in a rescue operation by the Yemeni army. So, this Al-Qaeda, after all, is founded by somebody called Osama bin Laden, whose family originates in Yemen. This is not a new story. This is a very old story of Al-Qaeda's presence in Yemen. It's pretty deep-rooted. It's not going to be something that's going to be rooted out overnight. But clearly this is a whole new era, and that's the message that Petraeus, I'm sure, delivered to President Saleh.
All right. Peter Bergen, the CNN national security analyst, joining us live. Thank you, Peter, as always. We do appreciate your insight.